The monitor had already gone silent. Time of death, 2:17 a.m. The doctors walked out. The code was called. The room was empty. Except for one nurse. She wasn't supposed to stay. She definitely wasn't supposed to pray. But she leaned in anyway and whispered, "If there's even a breath left, please." And then the screen moved. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to change everything. This is what happened next. The monitor had already gone silent. Not a dramatic flat line, not the long television scream. Just silence. Nurse Elena Ramirez stared at the screen for half a second longer than protocol allowed. Time of death, 2:17 a.m., the attending physician said quietly. The words landed heavy in the dim ICU room. Mr. Harold Whitaker, 72, retired bus driver, widower, father of 3, lay motionless beneath thin hospital sheets. His silver hair still combed neatly back by his daughter hours earlier. The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and warmed plastic tubing. Elena stepped forward automatically. She had done this dozens of times before. Remove the oxygen, silence the alarms, prepare the body. Clinical, efficient, professional. But something wouldn't settle. She glanced at his chart. Cardiac arrest, 22 minutes of resuscitation, 3 rounds of epinephrine. No response. They had done everything right. The doctor gave her a small nod and exited with the resident. The door clicked shut behind them. Now it was just her, just Elena, and the silence. She adjusted the sheet near his shoulder. "I'm sorry," she whispered automatically. Something she said to every patient who didn't make it. She reached for the monitor to power it down. Her hand stopped mid-air. A memory surfaced, earlier that evening. Mr. Whitaker's daughter gripping his hand. "Daddy, I know you can hear me. We're praying. Don't stop fighting." Elena swallowed. She wasn't supposed to linger. The hospital didn't encourage lingering. But the room felt unfinished. She looked at the monitor again. Flat, cold, clinical. And then, almost against her own training, she leaned closer. Not loudly, not boldly, just barely audible. "God, if you're still listening in here, he's someone's father." She hesitated. Her throat tightened. "I know we've called it, but if there's even a breath left, please." Silence. Nothing happened. The machines remained still. Elena exhaled slowly, embarrassed. She almost laughed at herself. She reached again for the power button. And then, a single blip, tiny, so small she thought she imagined it. She froze. Another blip. Her heart began pounding. "Come on," she whispered, stepping closer. The line trembled, not strong, not steady, but no longer flat. She slammed her hand against the emergency call button. Code Blue, ICU, Room 12. Footsteps thundered down the hall. As the team rushed back in, Elena stood frozen near the bed, pulse hammering in her ears. The doctor stared at the screen. How? There it was, a rhythm, weak, erratic, but present. Resume compressions, he barked. Elena moved instantly, muscle memory overtaking shock. The silence was gone. Now the room was chaos again, and Mr. Whitaker's heart was beating. They worked him for 9 more minutes. Compressions, oxygen, medication. Come on, Harold, the doctor muttered. Elena counted under her breath as she pressed down on his chest. Steady, controlled, professional. But her mind was racing. Did I see it first? Did I imagine it? Pulse, the resident called. The room paused. A beat. Another. Weak, but undeniably there. Okay, the doctor said carefully. Let's stabilize him. The tension shifted. Not celebration, not relief, just caution. After 30 minutes, Mr. Whitaker was alive, intubated, sedated, but alive. The team dispersed slowly, adrenaline fading into confusion. The resident lingered by the door. Did the monitor glitch? He asked. Elena shook her head. I don't think so. The doctor looked at her, searching. You called the code. Yes. What did you see? She hesitated. A choice. I saw activity, she said finally, which was true. He nodded slowly. Well, good catch. The room emptied again, only this time the machines hummed softly with rhythm. Elena stepped closer to the bed. His chest rose gently with mechanical assistance. You're not done yet, she whispered. 2 days later, something even stranger happened. He woke up. On the 3rd morning, Elena entered his room quietly before shift change. Mr. Whitaker's eyes were open, cloudy, confused, but open. She stopped mid-step. He looked at her as if recognizing something. She smiled gently. Good morning, Mr. Whitaker. His voice was hoarse from the ventilator removal. You stayed. The words startled her. I was on shift, she said lightly. He frowned slightly. No, you stayed. Her stomach tightened. You remember? He nodded faintly. There was quiet. And then someone asked for me. Elena's breath caught. Asked who? He struggled for the words. Not you, he said softly, but because of you. A tear slid down her cheek before she realized it had fallen. He closed his eyes again, exhausted. Outside in the hallway, she leaned against the wall. Nurses are trained to keep boundaries, to separate faith from medicine, to trust procedure. But she couldn't shake the sequence in her mind. Flatline, prayer, blip. She had whispered, and something had answered. Mr. Whitaker went home 12 days later, walking slowly, holding his daughter's hand. Elena watched from the nurse's station as he passed. He paused, turned, lifted a hand toward her. No words, just a knowing look. That night, driving home under amber streetlights, Elena replayed everything. She didn't believe she had performed a miracle. She had followed instinct. But maybe faith doesn't always part seas. Maybe sometimes it just whispers into silence. And sometimes silence answers. If this story moved you, take a moment tonight. For someone in a hospital room, for someone whose monitor feels quiet, whisper something hopeful. And if you've ever seen a moment you couldn't explain, share it below. Like, follow, and stay with Lanes and Lanterns, because sometimes the smallest prayer changes everything.